The autopsy room air is cold, thick with the metallic stench of blood and antiseptic. A young woman's lifeless body lies splayed on the metal table, ruled a clear-cut suicide by the city's most legendary forensic expert. Every detective, every staffer in the room is ready to sign off on the case and walk away, but as I stare at her pale, still face, a raspy, terrified whisper curls straight into my ear, so clear it makes my blood turn to ice. The dead woman on the table isn't silent. She's screaming the truth no one else can hear. I didn't kill myself. The killer is in this very room. I'm Summer, a brand new forensic intern, and this is my first day on the job at the city's top forensic center. Seconds after that, chilling whisper lands in my ears, the hemostatic forceps clamped in my grip slip, clattering loud and sharp against the metal tray. The entire room snaps to attention, all eyes burning into me. My mentor, Dr. Gregory, 47 years old, 20 years of elite forensic experience, the man every university professor reveres as untouchable, frowns sharply, his voice flat and authoritative. Summer, you are an intern, can't you even keep your hands steady? The lead detective on scene, Detective Jones, nods silently at the closed autopsy report in Dr. Gregory's hand. Outside the autopsy room door, the victim's mother collapses to her knees, broken sobs echoing down the hallway, utterly convinced her daughter took her own life. Everyone sees an open and shut suicide case, everyone but me. The dead woman's voice whispers again, trembling with raw terror, I didn't kill myself. This isn't the first time I've heard the dead speak. It's a secret I've carried my entire life, one I've never dared tell a single soul. When I was a kid, our family cat died in my arms, and I heard it grumble about me getting snot all over its fur. When my grandmother passed away at the funeral home, her body whispered a warning that my aunt had stolen her gold bracelet, and revealed a hidden savings card under her bed's third brick. I found that card exactly where she said it would be. I've spent my whole life knowing I'm not normal, but I also learned a brutal, unshakable truth: the dead never lie. It's only the living who twist the truth, hide secrets, and kill to protect them. That's why I chose forensic medicine. If I'm cursed to hear the voices of the deceased, I'm going to use that curse to give them the justice they can no longer fight for. The victim on the table is Kate, a 28-year-old tech company product manager. The official story is airtight. She was found dead in her locked apartment bathtub, left wrist sliced open deep, a paring knife beside her body, a suicide note saved on her phone that reads simply, I am so tired, I am sorry mom. Every physical detail screams suicide, but Kate's voice in my head screams murder. I didn't cut myself. When I woke up, my wrist was already being held down in the water. He was wearing gloves, he was smiling. Cold sweat blooms across my back as I stare at Kate's body. Her skin is drained of all color, but her lips are stretched into a stiff, forced grimace, no natural expression of suicidal despair, just brutal, manufactured agony against every rule, every expectation of a first-day intern. I open my mouth and challenge the untouchable Dr. Gregory. Dr. Gregory, isn't the cut on her left wrist a bit too clean? The room plunges into dead silence. Dr. Gregory pauses mid-glove removal, slowly turning to pin me with a cold, unreadable stare. Detective Jones lifts his gaze. Even Kate's mother outside falls quiet, listening through the door. What did you say? Dr. Gregory repeats, his tone sharp with quiet disdain. I swallow hard, doubling down despite the terror coiling in my throat. I know speaking up could end my forensic career before it begins, but I can't ignore Kate's desperate pleas. The angle of the wound is unusual. If she used her right hand to cut her left wrist, there would almost always be hesitation wounds, small, tentative cuts from doubt. But this cut is perfectly clean, a single fluid motion with no hesitation at all. Dr. Gregory lets out a dismissive, mocking laugh, closing the autopsy file in his hands, like my words are nothing but a childish tantrum. Summer, today is your first day as an intern, then act like it. Textbook theories aren't meant for you to show off at an active crime scene. He ticks off the official evidence one by one, each point a nail in Kate's coffin, right hand blood traces, victim fingerprints on the knife, no forced entry, a verified personal suicide note. He demands I explain how this could be anything but suicide. I have no words to answer him. I can't tell anyone I hear the dead. No one would believe me. They'd lock me in a psychiatric ward and throw away the key, but Kate's voice spikes into a shrill, frantic scream in my ears, desperate and broken. I didn't touch that knife. I didn't write that note. He knew my passcode. He knew it. Dr. Gregory's eyes glint with faint amusement at my silence, his voice cutting and condescending. It is good for young people to ask questions, but skepticism must be backed by evidence. Otherwise, it is just a desperate cry for attention. My cheeks burn with shame and rage. I'm not seeking attention. I'm trying to save a dead woman from being wrongfully condemned. But just as Dr. Gregory turns to finalize the closed case, Kate's voice rings out one last time, a final clue thrown to me from beyond the grave. My fingernails. Look at my right middle finger. There is skin under there. I don't hesitate, I grab a fresh pair of gloves and a magnifying glass, ignoring Dr. Gregory's icy, warning stare. Kate's right hand rests limp at her side, short pink, painted nails looking unmarred at first glance, no obvious signs of a struggle. But when I peer deep into the nail bed of her middle finger, I see it, a tiny, nearly invisible speck of dark red tissue, so small it would be written off as dried blood by anyone not actively searching for the truth. My breath catches in my throat. This is proof of a third person in that locked apartment, the night Kate died. Detective Jones, I call out, my voice tight and steady. There is a trace of what looks like skin tissue under the victim's right middle fingernail. I recommend we run an immediate DNA test on it. Detective Jones steps forward, his sharp, serious features hardening as he leans in to inspect the tiny speck. He's a relentless homicide workaholic, a man who only ever follows the evidence, and I can see the doubt creeping into his expression. Dr. Gregory crowds in beside him, his face darkening with irritation. He dismisses the finding instantly, brushing it off as meaningless contamination. A bathtub is a complex environment. It is perfectly normal for debris to get trapped under the nails. But if she took her own life, why would she have someone else's skin under her nail? I fire back, refusing to back down. Are you certain that is skin? He challenges coldly. No, which is exactly why we need to test it. The tension in the room is suffocating. Dr. Gregory stares me down, his eyes sharp and dangerous, making sure I understand the stakes. I'm a rookie intern challenging his decades of authority, holding up a finalized case, risking my entire future in forensics on a tiny speck of unknown tissue. Outside the door, Kate's mother speaks through quiet, broken sobs, her words fueling my resolve. Detective, my daughter would never do this. She just told me yesterday she was going to take me to the hospital for my checkup this weekend. She wouldn't leave me alone. I remember my grandmother's final warning before her casket closed. Don't fear the dead, Summer, the dead won't hurt you. The ones you should fear are the living who keep their mouths shut. I lift my chin, meet every gaze in the room, and make a formal request that shocks everyone present. Detective Jones, I'd like to formally request a secondary full examination of the victim, and all case evidence. The room freezes solid. Dr. Gregory's expression turns grim and furious. He slowly removes his wire-rimmed glasses, wiping them with deliberate, menacing calm, his voice low and dangerous. You are requesting it, Summer. You don't even have the authority to sign off on an official opinion. Your recommendation will force the detectives to reopen a settled case, give the family false hope, and delay an obvious conclusion. Can you take responsibility for the consequences? My fingers go cold, but I don't back down. Before I can reply, Detective Jones intervenes, grounding the chaos in unwavering protocol. Dr. Gregory, since we found potential physical evidence, running a quick test won't disrupt our timeline. I only follow the evidence. Dr. Gregory stiffens, clearly offended that a detective would side with a rookie intern over his expert judgment. He concedes the test with a cold, biting warning. Very well, but let me remind you, Summer, forensics isn't a detective novel. Dead bodies don't bend to your imagination. In my ear, Kate's voice whispers, soft and exhausted but grateful. Thank you. Hours later, after the room clears and the evidence is sent for testing, I'm left with a terrifying realization. Kate said the killer was in this autopsy room. The only people present were me, the two assistant pathologists, the female clerk, Detective Jones, and Dr. Gregory. The assistants never left my side. The clerk is a woman, and Detective Jones is the lead investigator. That leaves only one suspect, my own mentor. As if reading my thoughts, Dr. Gregory meets my gaze in the sink mirror while washing blood from his hands. He offers me a thin, icy smile. Summer, come to my office after you finish up. Evening falls, and the forensics center goes dark, only hallway lights glowing dimly. I knock on his office door, my heart hammering. The room is lit only by a single desk lamp, casting long, ominous shadows. Dr. Gregory sits behind his desk, my internship file spread open before him, no invitation for me to sit. He praises my perfect academic record, my top-of-class scores, my glowing professor recommendations, only to cut me down instantly. You're too eager. Every year, I see interns like you, smart, sensitive, ambitious, thinking they can change the world, but this isn't a classroom. Every decision we make alters justice for the living and the dead. His tone softens, a manipulative kindness that makes my skin crawl. He offers me a way out, a chance to erase today's entire incident. Tomorrow, write a brief statement explaining that your lack of experience led you to mistake a contaminant for skin tissue. We'll withdraw the test request, and I'll make sure it doesn't affect your final evaluation. I see right through his ploy. He's pressuring me to bury the evidence, to bury Kate's murder, to let a killer walk free. But the sample has already been sent to the lab. I argue. He smiles, cold and confident. It can always be recalled. The air thickens, my back presses tight to the office door, My palms slick with terrified sweat, and then I hear it, a new whisper, not from Kate's body, but from the evidence bin in the corner labeled with her case name. Don't listen to him, he touched me, he cut off my cuff. The blood-soaked clothes from Kate's apartment are speaking. The evidence itself is begging me not to back down. I lift my head, my resolve unshakable, and deliver my final answer to my powerful, dangerous mentor. I won't withdraw the request, Dr. Gregory. His eyes turn cold as flint, all pretense of civility vanishing in an instant. Very well, I hope you don't regret this. By the next morning, the entire forensic center is buzzing with gossip. Every staffer whispers about the reckless rookie intern who dared challenge Dr. Gregory's authority, labeling me an attention seeker chasing heroics. I bear the whispers in silence, knowing the truth no one else can see. At 9 a.m. the preliminary DNA results land like a bombshell in the conference room. The skin tissue under Kate's nail does not belong to her. It does not belong to any first responder, or anyone present at the crime scene. It belongs to an unknown third party. Detective Jones slams the report on the table, his voice sharp and definitive. There was a third person on the scene. We're reopening the investigation. A split-second flicker of panic crosses Dr. Gregory's face. Gone so fast, no one else notices. He recovers instantly, feigning calm agreement, but his compliance is too quick, too unnatural, sending a fresh wave of dread through my chest. Detective Jones turns to me, gesturing for me to present my wound analysis to the entire team. I pull up the autopsy photos on the projector, breaking down every inconsistent detail of the so-called suicide wound. Self-inflicted wrist cuts always start shallow, deep in mid-slice, and taper off with hesitant, shaky marks, but Kate's wound is perfectly uniform, clean, and steady, cut by a calm, controlled hand standing over her left side. It is not a suicide wound, it is a murder wound, Dr. Gregory cuts in, his tone sharp and controlling. Forensics doesn't deal in probabilities. Summer, I lock eyes with him, laying out my next move, the move that will expose his secret once and for all. Which is why I need to perform a follow-up examination, on the victim's clothes, specifically, her missing cuff. The room goes dead silent. Dr. Gregory's mask of calm finally cracks, because I know what no one else does. The killer cut off Kate's cuff, and if I find that missing piece of fabric, I'll find the proof that my legendary, untouchable mentor is the cold-blooded killer, who staged an entire suicide to get away with murder. The dead don't lie, but the living, the most trusted, most respected people in the room, they lie, kill, and manipulate the truth to protect their perfect reputations. Now I'm left staring down my murderous mentor, with only supernatural whispers and a missing cuff to prove his guilt, and he knows I'm coming for him. Do you think Summer will find the missing cuff and expose Dr. Gregory's dark secret, or will the experienced killer silence her before she gets the chance? If you enjoyed this chilling forensic thriller story, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.